right, we had to take the bumper off of this car because the bumper pad's not on it. And it was a real you-know-what. Of course, you got to take off the bottom panel, which are two bolts that go up into the corners here, and right into the body there. And then you got inside the trunk here, you got two bolts over there and two bolts on the other side. And then you got a bolt on the underside of the car that holds this in. Now this bolt over here came out fine. This bolt, I had to cut the head off because it was twisting around. So that'll be another issue to fix later. But now that we got this down, you see a bumper. I like to see these bumper pads still there here. We're going to take the wiring off. If you notice, it's still got one of these dew jammers down here. I don't know what you call it, to hold the light in place. I hope these lights come off without cracking all up and whatnot. I got a feeling this bumper's been off once before, but I don't know why they didn't put the bumper pad on. Guess they were saving it for me. Okay, here we go. Of course, these are just a quarter turn here, and then they pop out. So there you go. That's all there is to that. And you can see I got the car on lift, but I kind of lowered it, so I got this chair here to catch the bumper. So that's coming in kind of handy. So we got the one off here. I don't know if you can see that. Hard to do one-handed, so let me put the phone down. All right, so there you go. I got the bumper off, and you'll notice something very interesting on these is these are the flat ones. Now GM recalled these because they were melting out, and they put more of a round one in there, and then also it distributed the rear light up a little more for when you're backing up. But both of these sides have the very rare to find now flat ones. So you can see that top one's cooked a little bit, but not bad. Somebody that's restoring a perfect car might want these. All right, so now I'm down in the basement of Meldrum's Monster Garage because it's going to start getting cold out there pretty quick, and I really want to do this in some warm weather. So you can see one of my 5-speed bicycle projects, one of those suicide shifters over there. How you like that? I've been working on that for a while, but anyway, I've got this laid out here. It's not sitting real flat now, but the longer and warmer it'll sit here, it'll get straightened out. And I've pulled, you can pull these beads out and clean them. And I've pulled this bead out to about there and cleaned it up. And then I got to go over here, get that put back in, and then we'll pull this bead out over here to halfway and clean that up. One of the things we'll be using to put this back on is some panel bond. So I've got a little panel bond left over, and like I say, this is a project. This Chevelle's a let's just put it together and move it down the road project. We're not gonna. It's a restification similar to what you'd see on Vice Grip Garage, maybe one level above Vice Grip Garage. Good to go, Craigslist. But we'll get the right nuts and bolts in here. You can see some of the wrong screws in here. And we will get the correct screws in there and get those cleaned up. And we'll get this bumper cleaned up as good as possible before we reinstall it on the 70 Chevelle. All right, there you go. Mark Meldrum, Meldrum's Monster Garage. We'll see ya in the next video. Oh, by the way, Dave Chevelle, he left this at my house one time about 10 years ago, and I've used it ever since. So thank you, Dave. All right, there seems to be a little bit of interest in how to clean up these pads. So one of the things that you can do is you can pull this bead out. And I just simply took a screwdriver and just pried a little bit out, and then you can pull it back. So you can see it comes out, and you can see it's quite dirty. So we'll pull this back. I'm going to pull this back to about halfway point because I've already cleaned the other side. So we're just going to pull this out and then use some fantastic bleach white, WD-40, whatever it takes to clean it up. And when you work on these pads, I suggest, I'm doing it down in the basement. It's winter, so we're about 69 degrees down here. Try to get it as warm as you can. I might even take a hair dryer and blow on this to warm it up and soften it up. So I'll take this out, and then there's a little bit of interest in these S's here, so I'll go ahead and pop these out too. All right, so be very, very careful. I've got the screwdriver into the corner here just to pry it up a little bit. Be very, very careful not to chip this black part. Like I say, the warmer you can be, the better, because you'll have less of a chance to damage the black part. There's a little damaged spot right here. I'm gonna see if I can fix that up too. But as you can see, I've got the screwdriver in behind there. Then I'm just gonna grab it with my hands, and I can't do this with the camera too, and try to pull that S out of there. Give you a little midway report, and as I said, try to, don't try to pull this and stretch it, because you're gonna get it out of shape, and it might not go back into shape. So I tried to do this as much with my hands as I could. You can see that there's quite a bit of grime and dirt, 50 years of grime and dirt in there. But we'll keep gingerly pulling this out. All right, so I used a little, this is one of my new favorite cleaners and degreasers, is this Dawn Platinum. Really does a nice job of degreasing and cleaning. So like I said, very carefully pulled this S out, and you can see how dirty it is. And we'll use this Dawn to clean it up, and then we'll clean up the bottom of this S. So now we'll work on getting the other one out of there. Whoops. Well, I didn't want to do this, but water's your friend when you clean something like this that's this old. And I used a little SOS Brillo pad, some bleach white, and then fortunately, pardon my fingers, I've got warm water in my hose. It's about 50 degrees here, but I tell you, keep spraying it out with water. Water's going to flush all this stuff out, and you can see it's by the camera here, it's getting nice and clean now. All right, there you go. All right, I thought I'd try this again. I did a video once before on trying to clean a washer bottle out by using several tablets of Polydent denture cleaner. It's a whitener, so I figured it would whiten up the tank, but it did not. So I've got these SS's. I've got them pretty cleaned up. There's still maybe a little bit of yellow on them and a little bit of dirt, but I thought I'd try it out with a Yeti container, because that should keep the water warmer. And I've got some water boiling, and I'm going to put some very hot water in there with the Polydent capsule and see how that cleans things up. So let's give it a try. All right, there it is, fizzing away. I put a rock in there to keep the S's down. Watch, the rock will get cleaner than the S's do. But we'll leave this sitting here, and I'll even put a cap on it. I better vent it, so we'll see how that goes. All right, so here's a video of the parts after they soaked in the Polydent overnight. Are they whiter? I don't know. I'll look at the video. They are clean. There's a little bit of glue, looks like glue, left on the back. Are they cleaner? Maybe. I don't know. All right, so there you go. I got the S's cleaned up and got them pushed back in. It takes a little bit of working. You're kind of taking a pry bar and pushing it in, and these S's should be just below the surface by a little bit. I know the reproductions are almost flat with the top here, but these ones should be recessed in a little bit. And we got a little goober there that maybe we can fix up later. But right now I've got this taped out so the glue won't get on the chrome. Okay, and we're going to use this two-part glue that I think they call it panel bond from 3M. And what I'm going to do is I'll clamp it down like that, and I'll do one side at a time. So I'll get this all clamped down in here too. Lay the glue down and then put the clamps on and let that dry, and then come back and do the other side. So that's how I did Mike's bumper, and that's how I'll do this one. All right, this panel bond stuff's pretty cool. It comes with a nozzle on here. You know, you got to buy this extra. But as you squeeze the lever here, what it's going to do is it's going to mix in the mixing tube here. So we'll mix out some, and we'll basically spray a little bit of it on the wood here until I feel like, okay, this is what I'm looking for. And then we'll go ahead and spray it underneath here, or put it on here. Okay, I'm going to put the camera down. All right, so I got the wires hooked up and down in place there. So we're ready to put the bumper on. I've got all the bumper bolts out and got them lubricated up. And of course they get this serrated washer on there. And then make sure you put some sealant under this washer to seal up the hole. So you can use dum-dum putty for sealing around the windows, or you can use seam sealer is I think what the factory used, or some RTV or something just to seal it up there. All right, there you go. We got the bumper on, and it's relatively easy. And the one thing I noticed is that they forgot to put the bolts on here, and I had quite a hard time getting those bolts in. I don't know if they were just rusted on the nuts inside, but had to tap them out and put them in there. And of course, you got the bumper bolt bracket right here, okay? And you got one on the other side. And then you got two on the inside of the trunk over here and over here. Hey, once again, this isn't the perfect restoration we did like Mike's car, but we'll get her down the road. And here we've got the filler panel ready to go back on. And of course you got some screws that go through here. There's a clip on there. And on both sides, you don't want to put the filler panel on, or you do want to put the filler panel on first, because you're going to have the license plate bracket. It's going to get bolted on here, and it's got a couple bolts and nuts that are going to go through this filler panel. So there you go. Happy New Year.